My name is Sam Pearson. I'm native bred and baptized in the muddy waters of backwoods, Oklahoma. When the good Lord made me, He gifted me with the ability to answer the call of the wild. I've dedicated my life to answering that call. The Okie way. On this episode, we're going to do things a little bit different. We are going to practice the art of slowing down and enjoying our children between deer hunting and turkey hunting and crazy life stuff. We're slowing down. We're going to enjoy teaching our kids how to be an outdoorsman. And this is a little video that we made together to kind of get them in the mindset of it. However, keep in mind that the majority of this was filmed from the point of view of a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, so the video footage is a little bit rough, but we decided to go on a little turkey adventure, more or less just walking through the woods and finding a spot to sit down. And that's about what it is. They were super excited and they were going to enjoy it. We had a lot of fun. Crossing a waterway with a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old is definitely something that can be quite interesting. Usually ends up in me carrying one child in my arm and another child on my back, along with all of our gear and the camera on a tripod. So it's a lot of work taking kids hunting, I will say that much. After a little bit of walking around and quite a few pick up your feet and be quiets, we stop and decide to try to call, see if we can't do some little fall calling and get some sort of a response to know which direction we should be headed in. Personally, I think teaching a child how to track and how to hunt and how to find your kill once you shoot it, I think it's a dying art that needs to be carried on through generations. And the only way that they're going to learn is if we teach them. It's not something that you can learn on your own. It's something that has to be taught. How to behave in the woods, how to find your kill, how to know what to kill and when, and how to know where to find them at. That's the hardest part, is knowing where to go to find what you're looking for. And I know wholeheartedly that this life is not for everybody. And I understand. But every human should know how to do it if you ever had to. If it ever come a time that it was necessary, you would have those skills and that knowledge. How to clean an animal, how to cut meat, and how to know how to cook it so it doesn't kill you, or things like that. And it's important for every person to know how to do this. Not only animals, but also berries and vegetables that you can find in the woods naturally. What to eat, what not to eat, what's good, what's not good, what kind of leaves you can make stew out of. Those are kind of things that everybody should know how to do. And if you learn that from a small age, say 4 or 5, then it's kind of locked in for life. You'll always know it. If you start teaching them when they're young, by the time they're a grown adult, they'll be able to teach their children and their children and carry on the tradition for years to come. But if for some reason they don't choose this life, at least they know they have the knowledge and skills to be able to do it if they ever had to. And that's what's important. To me, anyways. However, if you are a hunter or a fisherman or outdoorsman in general, and you do decide to take your children and teach them some things that you should know that I've recently learned, don't ever expect to see any kind of wildlife. Don't expect to be sitting still very long, and expect hundreds of questions. Question after question after question. But there again, that's their way of learning. They ask the questions, you answer them to the best of your ability, and you talk about it. You show them the things that they need to see to learn it, to lock it in. And that's hard to do sometimes because it can be extremely frustrating, especially for a hunter who actually enjoys the hunt as much as they do the kill. You kind of get a little frustrated when your child won't sit still and won't be quiet. Ask a bunch of questions that you don't really want to answer, but if you don't, they'll never learn. So try not to get frustrated. Try to keep your cool and teach them. Plan a day that is not going to affect your hunting schedule to take them to the woods. Don't do it while you're trying to kill that monster mature buck. Wait until that's over with, and then you take them to the woods and teach them the lessons until they get old enough to go with you and know how to sit still and be quiet. Once we find a turkey trail or a game trail, we look for sign of turkey and we find track. And I teach the kids what the turkey tracks are and where they're at, and then we follow the trail back to this ridge line, which was a task to get up, let me tell you. The boys really enjoyed making this video. More than they did, I think, the hunt itself. They enjoyed filming it. However, having them in the woods and teaching them the way of life it's a necessity. There is no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the way it is. It's a necessity. It needs to happen, and I think every young child should have this done to just get to experience it for at least once in their lifetime. It's important that they do. After walking around for what felt like hours, but it was probably not that long, we finally make it to the place we're going to sit up on this ridge, and there was a down fence there, and we had to fight the kids over the down fence, and then I had to help each one of them climb up the ridge line, which became a task. You take the gear up, you come back for a kid. You take the kid up, you come back for another kid. Makes twice the work. But it's all worth it in the end. Finally, triumphantly, we finally make it to the top of the ridge, and we look around, and the kids look at the trees, and we try to find a good place to sit where we won't be spotted, which we find a place and sit down and get comfortable. After a few snacks and a couple of drinks, we settle in for an evening sit. And after a couple of hours, we were pretty much done. But 500 sit-stills and 3,000 be-quiets, and we weren't going to see any turkeys, and I knew that. But it was about them having fun and learning how to sit and be quiet. I was trying to teach them the art of that, but stressful, hair pulling, teeth gritting aside, we had a lot of fun. We didn't see much besides an armadillo that I drew back on because I thought it was a turkey. Other than that, wasn't much going on, and the kids really enjoyed it. They enjoyed seeing the armadillo. They thought it was the coolest thing ever. All the hair pulling, teeth gritting, stress and anger, it was all worth it to teach my kids the Okie way.